In 1953, the psychology guru Skinner, when he was auditing his daughter's fourth-grade math class, felt deeply frustrated. The teacher wrote questions on the blackboard. The class practiced in unison, but the right or wrong of the homework was known the next day. This was a disaster. It completely violated the iron law of learning that Skinner had studied for a lifetime: instant feedback. As the person who knows best on Earth how to teach mice to press levers, facing this much lower learning efficiency than mice, how could he tolerate it? A few days later, a crude teaching machine was born in Skinner's home. Students answered questions on cards by sliding the lever. If you got it right, the machine would give you a ding and present the next question. This is the embodiment of the ideal teacher in Skinner's eyes. It decomposes knowledge and shapes behavior with immediate rewards, becoming a perfect student without pain. Skinner firmly believed that this machine would bring about an educational revolution, making learning a process that is reinforced by rewards and can be easily achieved. Even he had ambitious plans to shape a perfect society. His confidence was based on dominated psychology, a powerful empire for nearly half a century, behaviorism. And the foundation of this empire was founded by the saliva of a dog. Physiologist Pavlov discovered that whenever the assistant who fed it approached, before the food was taken out, the dog in the cage began to salivate. He realized that this was not a simple physiological reaction. The dog learned to associate the footsteps with dinner, and he designed this experiment: ring the bell and then fed, repeating this process until the dog's saliva could be elicited by the bell alone. This is the classical conditioning. It proved that behavior can be achieved through the clever orchestration of the external environment and be shaped. Then, the standard bearer of behaviorism, Watson, pushed this view to the extreme. He had a 9-month-old baby, little Albert, touch a white mouse and then made a loud noise behind him. After several times, the baby, who was originally fearless of the mouse, would cry in fear when seeing it. Fear, like Pavlov's saliva, was successfully grafted. Watson declared to the world that which seemed to be internal experiences, even emotions, which seem to be internal, can also be manipulated by the external environment. And from there, the behaviorist empire grew. In their opinion, the human mind is a black box that cannot be explored or understood. Psychology only studied the visible inputs and outputs. But soon, something strange happened. Psychologist Tolman put a group of mice in a maze, but without any food rewards. The mice roamed the maze day after day. Behaviorally, they learned nothing. But when Tolman, on the 11th day, suddenly placed food at the end of the maze, the speed at which the mice found the end, they ran as fast as those who received rewards every day. It seemed they had already drawn a cognitive map in their minds. Learning occurred without rewards. It had already occurred inside the black box. This crack in latent learning indicated a revolution aimed at opening the black box and proving the mind was brewing. The revolution was sounded by linguist Noam Chomsky. He took aim at Skinner's writings, The Act of Language. He believed that children could create sentences never heard, which cannot be explained by imitation and reinforcement. The human brain cannot be a blank slate at the mercy of the environment. It must have come with the factory settings for learning the language. In addition, the research of the thinker Piaget was excavated again. He found that a baby thinks that hidden toys completely disappear, while a slightly older child would stubbornly believe that the water in the tall and thin cup must be more than in the chunky cup. He realized that human thinking at different ages will experience a qualitative leap. From an infant's perceptual motor stage, learning is not a linear accumulation of knowledge, but a revolutionary reorganization of the thinking framework. Thus, the focus of psychology finally shifted from external behavior to the inner mind, and the brain is reimagined as a computer that processes information. Learning involves encoding, storing, and extracting information. John Anderson even developed the ACT-R cognitive architecture, and based on this, developed a set of cognitive tutor, intelligent teaching system. Unlike Skinner's machine, which only gives simple right or wrong feedback, it can see when students are solving algebraic problems, which thinking step they are stuck at, and give precise guidance. Its teaching effect is also better than traditional classrooms. He proved it with code and data, that when we truly understand how the mind works, we can create far more subtle learning miracles than the pigeon experiment. However, when scientists delve into the hardware of the brain, they found that the workings of the mind may be far more complex than a computer and more chaotic. Inspired by neural network science, the connectionist trend emerged. Thinking is more like billions of nerve cells and the dynamic adjustment of connection strength. Knowledge is not stored in a specific file, but diffused among countless nodes, diffused among the weight of the connection. Learning is not downloading rules, but through experience, we are constantly adjusting the strength of these connections. Is this knowledge a logical calculation or pattern recognition? It has not been answered. But just as almost everyone was focused inside the skull, anthropologist Hutchins turned his attention to the ocean. He boarded a U.S. Navy ship to observe how to navigate in the foggy sea, locate the huge ship. He found that no genius could complete this task independently. Precise navigation depends on a huge and sophisticated cognitive system. One person measures the bearing, one person consults the nautical chart, one operates the instruments. They work together through specific passwords. Compasses, charts, slide rules are more than just tools. They're the cognitive system, an indispensable component. They are extensions of thinking, and the wisdom of the ship is distributed throughout the team, in the interaction between tools and the environment. This discovery gave rise to the theory of distributed cognition. It completely turned upside down common sense that thoughts only happen in the brain. Our memories can be stored in notebooks. Our calculations can be outsourced to computers. Our decisions can depend on team discussions. Thoughts have already escaped. They extend to our bodies, tools, and even social relationships. This raises a profound question. If real learning and thinking always occurs in specific situations and deeply rely on collaboration and tools, then our kind of separating students from the real world, sitting side by side, listening alone in class, is it wrong from the beginning? Looking back on this century-long journey, understanding of learning itself is a great learning. It's being shaped passively in a Skinner box, to a thinker who actively draws maps in the brain, and finally become a participants in building meaning together. We once thought we were inside our skulls an isolated thinker. But science has finally revealed we are naturally cyborgs. It's a mixture of body, tool, and others. We are good at unloading cognition, unloading on symbols, tools, and others, and then use the saved mental energy for higher level problems. It's not just about methods, but also design. What changes fate is never talent, but how you design your cognitive system. The real divide is not whether you have escaped the maze. The question is whether you're building it better and thereby achieve long-term sustainable progress.